Today, let us look at linear equations. Before starting, let us recall linear equations in one variable. As an example, let us take 2x plus 6 equals 0. Now, how do we solve for x? There are two ways to do it. One is that we guess the value of x that satisfies this equation. Let us start with x equals 0. We see that the left hand side is equal to 6, whereas the right hand side is equal to 0. Hence, the equation is not satisfied. Let us try with another value. Let us try x equals minus 1, because the left hand side is much greater with x equals 0. So we need a negative number which can be subtracted from 6 so that the left hand side gets equal to 0. So let us try x equals minus 1. Still we have the left hand side as 4, which is still not equal to 0. Let us try x equals minus 2. We get the left hand side as 2. It is still not equal to 0. Please note that the value on the left hand side is decreasing, which means that we are on the correct path. Now let us try x equals minus 3. This time we get the left hand side as 0 and the equation is satisfied. Now this value of x, that is minus 3, is known as the root of this equation. Since we are talking about the variable x, we can denote this root on the x-axis. There is another way to solve this equation. We can subtract 6 on both sides and then divide both sides by 2. This would still give us x equals minus 3. Once again, x equals minus 3 is known as the root of this equation. And it matches the value we found from our trial and error method. Now what if we added another variable to this equation? Now we have two variables x and y, and our equation reads as 2x plus y plus 6 equals 0. Now this time, since we have two variables x and y, we would be looking at the xy plane. The x variable would correspond to the values on the x-axis, and the y variable would correspond to the values on the y-axis. Once again, let us try putting different values of x and see what happens. Let us start with x equals 0. Substituting this value, we get y equals minus 6. We can actually plot this point on the xy plane. Let us try doing that. So we are looking at 0, minus 6, which lies somewhere on the negative y-axis. Alright, now let us try x equals 1. We get y equals minus 8. Let us plot this point as well. So we get 1, minus 8 somewhere in the fourth quadrant. Let us try a negative value for x equals minus 1. We get y equals minus 4. Let us plot this point minus 1, minus 4. It lies somewhere in the third quadrant. Let us try another negative value, x equals minus 2. We get y equals minus 2. Let us plot this point, minus 2, minus 2. It lies somewhere in the third quadrant. What do you think will happen if we join these 4 points? We would get a straight line. Isn't that interesting? A linear equation in two variables gives us a straight line on the xy plane. Let us look at a few problems. Write each of the following equations in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. We are given three equations. 4 equals 5x minus 3y, y minus 4 equals 0, and 5 equals 3x. Now what we are looking at is something about x and y on the left hand side and a 0 on the right hand side. Let us look at the first equation. So first of all, let us take all the terms on the left hand side. This would give us a 0 on the right hand side. Let us rearrange the terms so that the term with variable x comes first, the term with variable y comes next, and the term with a constant comes last. Let us compare this with the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. Can you identify the values for a, b and c here? Yes, a equals -5, b equals 3 and c equals 4. Let us look at the next equation. This time we have y minus 4 equals 0. There is no term with the x variable, but we do want the x variable. So what could I multiply the x variable with so as to get a value 0? Yes, I could multiply it with a 0. So 0 times x plus y minus 4 equals 0. Since there is no coefficient with y, we shall multiply it with 1. So we get 0 times x plus 1 times y minus 4 equals 0. Let us compare this with ax plus by plus c equals 0. Yes, we get a equals 0, b equals 1 and c equals -4. Let us look at the third equation. 5 equals 3x. Now this time we do not have a term with the variable y. So let us take all the terms on the left hand side so as to get a 0 on the right hand side. Now we have to fit in the variable y. So let us multiply it with 0. We get -3x plus 0 times y plus 5 equals 0. Comparing it with ax plus by plus c equals 0, we get a equals -3, b equals 0 and c equals 5. What are these terms called, a, b and c? A and b are called the coefficients and c is called the constant term. So a is the coefficient of x variable, b is the coefficient of y variable and c is the constant term here. Let us look at another problem. Write 4 solutions for x equals to y plus 1. This is similar to the exercise we did while plotting a straight line in the xy plane. Now here I could either substitute values for x and find out the values for y, or I could substitute the values for y and find the corresponding values for x. Now here substituting for y looks easier. Let's start with y equals 0. Why do we start with y equals 0? Nothing in particular, it is just easier to solve. You can start with any other number. You could start with -2, -1, 1, 2, whatever you like. Let us start with y equals 0 again. So we get x equals 1. Let us put y equals 1 and we get x equals 3. Let's put y equals 2 and we get x equals 5. For a change, let us take a negative value for y as -1 and we get x equals -1. Now this method is very similar to trial and error, where we are just putting values for one of the variables and finding out the corresponding values for the other variable. Alright, so the 4 solutions for this equation are 1, 0, 3, 1, 5, 2 and -1, -1. Let us look at another problem. Find the value of k if x equals 2, y equals 1 is a solution of the equation 2x minus 3y equals k. So we are given an equation 2x minus 3y equals k and we have to find the value of k. Now what does it mean when the question says that x equals 2 and y equals 1 is a solution? Recall that when we were solving equations, we were looking at values that satisfied an equation, which meant that left hand side equaled right hand side for given values of x and y. So similarly, 2, 1 is a solution, which means that when we put x equals 2 and y equals 1 in the equation, my left hand side would be equal to the right hand side. So let us substitute these values and solve for k. We get k equals 1.